This is Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out. Shane Watson's joining me down at a really nice gym here. First time, obviously, Rain Boxing Club. You say you're down here a couple of times a week now. Busy man. How's things at the moment, Shane?
Yeah, good. Back to a bit of normality after the whole Joe Joyce run, being out in Vegas and that. It's good to spend a lot of quality time with the boys. We've got 4 boys down there now, so it makes it a bit easier to spend more time with them because we've got Guido, who's doing a bit of sparring down here out of Italy. Obviously, we've got Tommy Fletcher. Well, he's not training at the moment. He's just had a fight. John Hedges and Johnny Fisher, who are both fighting on the same bill. So yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. I like coming down here. It's got a good energy around here, and it's good to always catch up with everyone. But yeah, all the boys are looking good, so no complaint to me.
How many people are there fighters are there at Esham at the moment? I'm sure this is the one gym with the most fighters.
As in, how many that train out of this gym?
How many fighters in general?
We've got 10. Could be expanding. Could make a couple of signings maybe, but like we don't really want to make it much bigger than that because that was the whole reason why we started Esham, was to give that man-to-man management, help them with all their needs, whatever that is, whether it's personal life stuff as well. So, but yeah, 10, and it's very stressful and it's hard work, but it's also the best job in the world, so can't complain.
Yeah, let's talk about end of October in Wembley. A couple of guys from this gym in particular, Johnny and John. It's going to be a good fight night. What can you tell us about their opponents, etc.?
Yeah, John Hedges is fighting a guy called Cedric Spira, who's 17-9, experienced, beat someone who is 5-0. If you're not any good, he will beat you. He's that kind of level. It's I would say the guy is solid at English title level, kind of an opponent. He's done 10 rounds before, no problem. He's tough. But I think we've seen in the last 2 fights from John Hedges that he's punching a lot harder. He's got a lot more confidence. He believes himself. He's coming a lot bigger. He's just growing in size all the time. He's becoming more of a man now. And I expect John to get another stoppage. If he doesn't, he's got some rounds into it, which is great. But this is his last 6 rounder. So some rounds would actually be quite good, stepping him up to 8 because the experience will help him out moving up to 8 rounds. But yeah, he's got a tough guy, experience. And it's a good little step up to tell us where John's at the moment, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think with John, it's been a really good start to the pro career. Obviously, there was a couple of not great performances, but the way he's got better and better, that's more ideal than having a great pro debut and then kind of winning big fights and getting a bit stale. It's kind of gone well for John, gone onwards and upwards.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a mistake from our behalf, but his debut, he shouldn't have been fighting at 168. He's way too big for it. He had a knee injury that we didn't know about going into that fight, and his training setup wasn't right. But these are all things that you learn. You know, when fighters just start out, they don't always tell you what's going on because they get worried about causing a bit of a fuss and stuff. They think it's okay. But now he learned from that experience, and if there are any issues, that he'll tell us straight away. Like, he hurt his hand. We got that all sorted out before. He probably wouldn't have told us that. So it's all an experience. But yeah, we learned from it as well. But yeah, but since then he's been looking great. He's beat an undefeated guy in his last fight, beat another guy with a winning record the fight before that. And this guy, he's got a really experienced opponent. So I can't wait to see him get under the lights, really. But hopefully we can get him out again before the end of the year, and then we'll start the new year looking at some serious, decent title level guys.
Yeah, I like your top. I'm going to zoom on this. I thought it was large overpound. I thought that was about you for a second, but I clocked it.
Well, I mean, it's quite a brave top to wear, actually, because I'm actually going, after this, I'm going to watch Dubois spar Guido and Johnny Fisher in the McGuigan gym, and I thought the Juggernaut t-shirt was the right attire to wear today. Whether I come out there alive is another thing. No, I'm only joking, but yeah, still over the moon for the Juggernaut, so I thought I'd wear this t-shirt today. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Joe. Is he top 2 heavyweight in the world, do you believe?
Absolutely. Apart from the rest of the Esham heavyweights, he stops them all. But no, seriously, I've never seen Tyson Fury's face look so white after a fight. I think everyone was just unbelievably shocked. I mean, I wasn't overly shocked because I saw what he was doing to people in sparring out in Vegas. I'm not just saying that because he's with Esham. The only fighter that he couldn't really get rid of was Johnny Fisher, actually, in sparring. And even he found it unbelievably tough because it is tough. Sparring 4 rounds with him is like having a 12-rounder. That's what it feels like. That's what they say. He threw over 840 punches against Parker. That is just incredible for someone that's 19.5 stone, and for a fight that went 11 rounds. I mean, that's the kind of punches that a super bantamweight throws. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Who in their right mind is going to want to fight someone like that? So yeah, I think he can beat anyone. I think anyone in that division knows that he can beat them. I'm not saying that they don't believe they would beat him, but they know that he's a serious threat and that he can beat them. And even Fury said it himself. I think now with Joe, it's just about getting in the right fights. I mean, obviously now he's interim champion. Hopefully the next fight will be the world title shot. If not, the only reason why it wouldn't be is because if Undisputed happens, and then we would get the winner. But if Undisputed happens, what I think will happen is the belt will become vacant. And if it becomes vacant, Joe gets elevated to full world champion. So, which isn't the ideal way to become world champion, obviously, but there's not a lot you can do about it. And then we can get some defences in there against top level guys. So that's just the plan with him for now, really. But I don't expect him to be out until February, March time.
You think Frank would be in favour of a rematch with Dubois? Obviously, now that Dubois has had a couple wins since their first fight, would that be something that you and the team would be interested? Joe and you guys would be interested?
Yeah, if we can get them both to become full world champions. Like WBA regular, you can't unify with that, so we need to become a full world champion. But I believe the WBA are scrapping the regular, and that it's just going to make you mandatory for the main belt. So if that happens, then maybe Dubois can become world champion. He's definitely good enough. He's got a lot of ability and he's got a lot of power. So, and I'm assuming Shane McGuigan's adding a lot to his game. But yeah, that would have to be a unification fight. Joe doesn't gain anything from beating Dubois. That was a straight 10-count KO. And it wasn't really that much of a close fight. Like, it wasn't controversial, so the rematch don't make a lot of sense unless he's a proper world champion. That rematch could be like an Emirates Stadium fight with a decent undercard. So if we can get Joe WBA world champion, and if we can get Dubois WBA, then yeah, that'd be a big rematch. And it would have to be for serious money. We're not talking $1 million or $2 million. We're talking like £5-10 million upwards. So, you know, so until the money's right, that fight won't happen. But definitely not going to say no to it, because if Usyk and Fury retire after they fight each other, if they do fight each other, then it doesn't leave a lot of like big financial opponents in the heavyweight division for Joe at this minute. So Daniel Dubois would have to be right up there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure Frank Warren would be in favour of an Arsenal Emirates Stadium fight. So yeah, maybe that's more likely than we think. And then yeah, we spoke a second ago about Joyce being in the top two. Why is he better than Usyk? Assuming you think Fury's above Joyce, the only person.
Well, just think about it this way. Why do you think Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight Joe Joyce? He spoke so bad on Twitter about Joe, all this saying, oh, I just stopped him in one round. But getting stopped in one round in the amateurs mean nothing. You land a flurry of punches on someone, the fight gets stopped. Joe's style obviously isn't really made for that kind of boxing, even though obviously it sounds like it is, because he should have been an Olympic gold medalist. But if someone just hits you with a barrage of shots and you get stopped in the amateurs, well, what's Joe Joyce's style? He gets hit with shots, so it's not really ideal, is it? It's not like he knocked him flat out on his back. And that was years ago. Anyways, I don't know why it's relevant, really. Like, AJ got beaten by people that go in the pub all the time in the amateurs. They wouldn't go and beat him now, though, would they? Like, Dylan White beat him in the amateurs. Look what happened when they fought in the pros. I just think they don't have enough self-confidence or belief to fight someone like Joe Joyce. Anthony Joshua, I mean, Joe Joyce is ready for December 17th. If AJ wants to fight on there, then we're more than happy to make that. But we know that there's no way AJ is going to fight anyone inside the top 5, probably not even top 10 in December 17th. There's a lot of confidence issues there. There's a lot of stuff he needs to work on. I don't even think he should be fighting in December, to be honest. I think they should have delayed that into next year and get the right people around him. I think he lacks the right people around him. I'm not on about his management team. He's got a good management team. I mean, like, actual trainers and people that tell him maybe what he doesn't want to hear. Because I feel like he's got a lot of yes men around him. That's not good to have in a sport as dangerous as this. So, but then again, what do I know? But that's just my opinion. But Joe, I'd love to make Joe Joshua in Nigeria. That'd be a massive fight. You're not going to get two great Nigerian background fighters around very often. I think this is a great fight that could do outrageous pay-per-view figures, would do an outrageous crowd, be an outrageous build-up. You'd see Joe's personality in a fight like that, for sure.
How likely do you think it is that in the next 5 years we actually see, let's say AJ or Joyce, but a fight in Africa? Do you think that's genuinely possible?
Well, no. If we become the world champion and AJ's not got a world title, which I can't see how he would in that space of time, then no, we're right up for it. Like what? How else is AJ going to get a world title shot? The only other way I could see AJ doing it is potentially fighting Filip Hrgovic and then stealing his IBF mandatory and then going that way. But then again, I don't think he's going to want to settle for a smaller split, whoever he fights for the IBF. Could be a vacant title shot maybe, so maybe you wouldn't have to settle for a less split actually, but depending on how that all works out. But how else are you going to get a world title shot that quick? So I believe we can make it. Like, it just depends. It depends what goes on with AJ. Like, he might even lose his next fight. So we have to see what goes on with him, really. But it's definitely a fight we can make. Look, Frank, I think, has shown, and Eddie has shown, that they will work with other promoters. I think John Ryder and Zach Parker's going to get made. That's another co-promotion. Fury, AJ looked like there was a lot of positive talks there, so that would have been another co-promotion. They made fights in the past. Bradley Skeet, Sam Egginton, co-promotion night. So it can happen, but it's just it takes a long time. It takes a while, but all I'm really focused on is getting Joe Joyce to become a world champion, and then we can look at Joshua and all those guys.
Okay, just one more thing. I know you spoke to Danny very recently on the channel, so I'll put that link in the description. But you talked about, I don't think it was officially over, Fury Joshua at this point, but you said kind of you weren't surprised that it wasn't going to happen. Now it's fully, it looks like it's done.
Yeah, I knew it, man. I knew it. Like, so you know what Tyson Fury does, yeah? He says this thing. He will like make loads of talk about fighting AJ, and I'm not saying it's his fault why the fight happening, by the way. I don't know whose fault it is, but he would start like all this AJ talk, but he will have like someone lingering in the background. Like every now and again, he would do a random Manuel Shah story, yeah? And he's done this in the past, like with Sefa Sefri and Pionetta. He does these little random stories, but he's calling out way bigger people. Like, he keeps him on the back burner, and that's who he ends up fighting. He always does it, always. When I started hearing about Manuel Shah 4 months ago, I called it then. I said, look, he's going to fight Manuel Shah in December, I bet you. I said it, and everyone was like, no way, that would never happen, that would be a joke. And now look, isn't it funny how that really looks like it's a possibility for happening now? I feel like it may not because of the like the public going mental when they started hearing the rumours about it. So maybe that won't happen now. But I called that from far off. You can always tell when things are going to happen. AJ Fury is never going to get made in a couple of weeks. With the situation that Joshua is in at the moment, coming off of 2 defeats, looking like he needs a new training setup, looking like, and I mean, like, the zone have just invested all that money and stuff into him. It'd be crazy for them to just let him fight on BT, let him fight on ESPN, even if they're broadcasting it as well. But it's like more people have BT than have the zone. So if you're both broadcasting the same thing, naturally more people are just going to go to BT because you have it on your Skybox. Whereas the zone's a great platform, but like older people are going to know how to use BT and that better than the zone. It would just be mental for that to have happened in December. And also, I don't think I'd have been a good fight for AJ because, like I said, mentally he isn't 100% there yet, as we saw after the Usyk fight. To put him in a fight like that against someone in a press conference like Fury's going to get right under his skin, I just don't think it's a sensible idea. I think you've got to think about people's well-being and stuff before we make fights like that. And that could truly end his career, a fight like that. So that fight's always going to be there no matter what. So I think AJ needs 2 warm-up fights against fringe top 15 guys, get his confidence up, work on some things with a new trainer, and then you can look at maybe a Fury fight, I think.